Hey, Allison Verhalen here with AV Writing Services, and today we are talking about fear of blogging. Are you afraid of blogging? Right? Halloween is just around the corner. It's the spooky season. It's when people are facing our fears. We tend to watch scary movies, we read ghost stories, we tell each other ghost stories. Some people are dressing up in scary costumes. I know this year is weird, so maybe there's fewer costumes happening, less trick-or-treating happening in some parts of the world than in others, but a lot of people overlook some of the more mundane things that we are terrified of, right? Like public speaking ranks as something that terrifies a lot of people. Doing videos like this is something I know intimidates a ton of people, especially women. They get in front of a camera and they freeze up and they're terrified that they won't look right, they won't sound right, they won't do it right, and they just have a really hard time embracing the authenticity that can come with doing a live video. I know this is pre-recorded, but I tend to only do one take because I'm lazy. So that is something that terrifies people, and it's just because they don't do it. Like, there's nothing to be afraid of. And there's actually data that shows that when videos are a little bit rough and you can see through to the person, not the polished persona that we all want to provide, but the actual real human being who sometimes makes mistakes and sometimes forgets what they're talking about. People actually really resonate with that and love those kinds of videos and will engage with those videos because they're relatable. No one wants to relate to this perfect image of whatever because that's not real life. None of us are perfect. So this is something that freaks out a lot of people, and blogging is something that freaks out a lot of people. They freeze up, they stare at a blank page, they don't know what to write about, they just don't want to do it. Sometimes there's an imposter syndrome happening, and blogging is a great way, I say it over and over, it's a great way to demonstrate your expertise and your authority in your industry. But a lot of people, if they have imposter syndrome, maybe they think if they blog that they'll be outed as a fraud, as someone who doesn't really know what they're talking about, and they freeze up and it just terrifies the crap out of them. And it's really not that scary because yes, you know what you're talking about, and B, the best way to learn about something is to teach it. So if there is an aspect of your industry that you are a little fuzzy on, and maybe that is not your strongest suit, figure it out, write a blog post about it, do your research until you do become an authority in it and you can write confidently about it, and then put that out on social media. And if someone corrects you and turns out that you forgot something or you got something wrong, it's not the end of the world. You can fix it. You can go in, fix it, you're done, and republish it, and it's super easy. So literally that's the worst thing that can happen, is that someone says, oh, hey, you forgot about such and such, or hey, you got this wrong. And in this day and age, who's even wrong, right? I mean, is there a thing as facts even? I don't even know anymore. No one knows anymore. There are two SEO experts, both of whom I follow, I trust. One of them wrote a blog post about backlinks, and another shortly after that wrote another blog post about backlinks, completely contradicting what the other person said. And I don't even know who to believe, because again, these are two people that I trust, and they had completely opposing views on this one aspect of SEO. So even the experts disagree sometimes. That's fine, as long as you can back up your position with a data or your personal experiences, or as long as you have something to back it up, you're not just putting it out there for the shock value. Go ahead and be bold and put your opinions out there. And if someone disagrees with you, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. So we are going to go over some of the ways that you can overcome your fear of blogging. Number one, educate yourself on it. So many people are afraid of things because they just don't understand them. So get to know about it. There are tons of blog posts about blogging, including my own blog at avwritingservices.com/blog. This video, I have tons of other videos about blogging to give you all the tips that you need, and my group Blog Consistently is another one where it's a paid group and people can commiserate and talk about their goals for the week, whether or not what their goals are at the beginning of the week, and then at the end we talk about whether or not they achieved them. And throughout the week, people can ask me questions. They have exclusive access to me and my knowledge and expertise. So maybe that's something that is right for you right now if you're not ready yet to hire someone to handle all your blogging needs for you. If you want to do it yourself, or If you just don't have the budget for a professional yet, that is a great, more cost-effective option to, again, educate yourself and learn about blogging and get the answers that you need, and then practice. That's number 2. Just start blogging and you'll figure out that it's not as scary as you think it is. And the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. So practice, and you're gonna realize that the worst thing that can happen is no one reads your blog, which I know is frustrating because we put all this time and effort and energy into our blogs to get crickets, and that's super frustrating. But it's also really normal, especially when you're just starting out. It takes a while for people to figure out who you are in social media and to start following you. It takes a while for Google to index your content, figure out what you're all about, figure out what categories to fit you in. So give it some time, give it at least 2 or 3 months. It really does take Google that long to try and figure out what you're all about. And obviously the longer your website exists and sticks around, the more Google is going to get trust you, because there are so many websites that pop up and have a scam and then they disappear. So it takes a while to earn Google's trust as well as the trust of the actual humans who are looking at your website. So take all of that into consideration. But literally that's the worst thing that can happen, is that no one looks at your blog. No one's going to come at you with a pitchfork or call you a liar or a fraud. None of those things are going to happen. The very worst thing is that no one looks at your blog. And if that happens, there are ways to push it out there and get people's attention on it. So absolutely focus on that. Number 3 is focus on your target audience, right? Sometimes we get so in our own heads and we get so focused on what people think of us, but the blog shouldn't really be about you. This is not an opportunity for you to brag about yourself. If you get an award or a new certification or something new happens in your industry, to your company, to you, and you're super excited about it, absolutely use that as an opportunity to either write a press release or a blog post about it. You can talk yourself up then, but that should be the minority of your blog posts. The vast majority of your blog posts should be providing value to your target audience. So focus on that. Focus on the fact that they have a pain point, they have a problem, and you have the solution. They are looking for ways to solve this problem, and you have it. So provide it in the blog post. Talk about it in your blog post. Sometimes thinking about who you're helping can make it easier to do that kind of stuff because it helps us get out of our own heads. Focusing on number 4 is focusing on the benefits of blogging. Instead of thinking about what can go wrong, think about what can go right. Think about the fact that marketers who make blogging a priority are significantly more likely to see a return on their investment compared to marketers who do not prioritize blogging. So focus on the fact that you want people to come to your website, right? None of us are in business to not make money. None of us put up a website so that no one can look at it. We want people to come to our website. We want that optimized content and those optimized blog posts. So they come and they read the content and they engage with it and it's super valuable to them, and then they want to take the next step in the buyer journey, whether that's actually making a purchase or just subscribing to your newsletter or making a purchase and subscribing to your newsletter, or maybe it's just following you on social media. It depends on the kind of industry you're in. Sometimes if you're in a professional services industry or a B2B industry, it takes a little bit more work to gain people's trust and to get them to work with you. And sometimes they're just looking for information before they're ready to buy. So make it easy for them to find more information and make it easy to stay top of mind with them. And your newsletter and social media is a great way to do that. So keep all of that in mind. Next up is stop being a perfectionist. I see this all the time, and I'm guilty of it myself a lot, right? We want to go over a blog post again and again and again and again until it's absolutely perfect. And I have news for you. We are humans. We are flawed. There is no such thing as perfection. And one person's idea of perfection might not be another person's idea of perfection. So even if you think you've attained perfection, someone will disagree with you. So don't even worry about being a perfectionist. You should absolutely make sure that your content is free of typos and grammars. That is super important. A lot of people will click away as soon as they see a typo or a grammatical error, myself included. I will sometimes click away. I'm not going to share content on social media if I see a typo or an error like that. So absolutely be cognizant of that. But that's not the same as obsessively looking over your blog post until it just never gets published, right? So just put that perfectionist away and make sure it's good, it's clear, it's well written, it provides value, it's relevant, and just get it out there and then share it on social media, in your newsletter. Do what you got to do to get it out into the world. And next up, so you're gonna stop being a perfectionist, and then you're gonna figure out what to write about. That's another thing that we can help with if that's something that you don't even know where to start. There are a bunch of different ways to figure out what to write about. I tend to do keyword research. Sometimes I look at what my competitors are blogging about. Sometimes I will listen to a question that someone asked me, whether it's on social media or at a networking event. And then again, I'll go back to the research and figure out, is this a good topic? Is this something that people are searching for and not finding answers for? If I find there's already a ton of content on that particular topic, I'm not going to cover it. If I find no one is searching for that topic, I'm not going to cover it. So it all comes back to the keyword research. If this is something that you want to write your own blog post, you just don't know what to write about, that's something we cover over here. We can give you a list of blog post topics you should write, a list of keywords you should use in those blog posts, as well as a recommendation of the best times to publish your blog posts based on a market analysis of your particular industry. So keep all of that in mind. If you do want to do your own keyword research, SEMrush is a great keyword tool. It has a free option and a paid option. Answerthepublic.com is a great option. You can put in any keyword or search term and it comes up with the most commonly asked questions related to that search term. Super valuable. I love that tool. Again, you can do a little bit with it for free. If you want to do a lot of searches on a regular basis, you're going to have to pay for it. Tons of keyword tools out there. Moz is another one. I actually use SERPstat, which I pay for. That's my favorite tool. So do your research, play around, see what you're most comfortable with. But Answer the Public has a free option that I highly, highly recommend. Next up is don't try to write about everything. So that's the other thing people have a problem with, is either they don't know what to write about and they're completely blank, or they want to write about all of the things. And again, that's where your keyword research is going to come in handy. If you're overwhelmed with topic ideas, go back to your keyword research. What are people searching for? What has not already been covered? You want to find that content gap, because that's going to get the highest ROI for your blog, because that's what's going to make it really easy for you to show up in online searches, get people to your website, and people are going to be more likely to read your content because they haven't read about that topic anywhere else on the internet. So absolutely keep that in mind. And then finally is just get help, right? If maybe blogging is too scary for you, or maybe you're not scared at all, you just don't have time for it. Your time is better spent doing other things in your business, especially with the holidays coming up. They're right around the corner. We all get super busy, not only with our businesses, but with family stuff, and blogging is always the first thing to fall by the wayside. But Google doesn't care. Google doesn't care that you're busy with other stuff. All they see is that your blog has gone stagnant, and they're going to be like, is someone still behind this website? Is this still relevant? Is the content here still relevant? Is it outdated? So if you want to make sure that doesn't happen, you want to continue consistently getting content out there up on your website, no matter what is going on with you personally or professionally. That's where we come in. So you know where to find us. We're at avwritingservices.com. If you have any questions, you want to reach me directly, you can reach me at info@avwritingservices.com. That's it. Have a great week and happy marketing.